Hi, everyone. I hope you are doing well. This is part three now. We never thought it would move into three sessions of life lessons. For people who are new on this session, we've already done two of them. And these are life lessons that we've learned over the years, consulting with people all over the world, right from end of life patients, dying patients, to young children, to rape victims, victims of child abuse, normal teenagers, young adults going through health problems, addiction problems, or whatever it is. So there are a couple of lessons that we've learned over the last couple of years, and we keep learning every single day. And that's what we've been using these sessions for, sharing them in hope that you may have something to take away from it. You may not make, mistakes that other people have and unfortunately have to bear the consequences for. So these are basically life lessons. The way I want you to see it is, relate it to your life. If it makes sense to you, if it makes sense that you need to change something or do something differently, that's all you have to do. You don't have to follow everything that's said. It's good to listen, learn, because everyone's life lesson doesn't have to be applicable to you. But usually life teaches us lessons that are applicable to all of us, because the one thing that isn't different is that we're all human beings. We all have emotions. We all have stress. Many of us are in relationships. Many of us are not in relationships. Some have children, some don't. Some have gone through sickness. Some are currently sick. So technically, the principles of life, the laws of nature never really change. So today I'll start off with, and I think we should be done in today's session. So what I've noticed is a lot of patients, even young kids, teenagers, all of that stuff, because they've lost something in life or they've been disappointed too often. They've had loss in love, they've had poor relationships, they've probably never gotten that promotion that they've struggled for so much. So they become victims and they start building these walls of fear within them. They don't open themselves up to anyone anymore. They don't open their hearts up to people. When I say open your hearts, it doesn't mean you become vulnerable, but you have to understand that we use fear to build walls within us. And we do this consciously or unconsciously. Consciously when we don't want to get hurt anymore, or unconsciously when we want to protect ourselves. Every human being is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. So everything that we do is wired towards that. You're making money, okay, because at the end of the day, you want to avoid the pain of not having enough of money and what poverty comes along with. We want to seek pleasure in different ways. Entertainment, for that we need money, so we want money so we can go for movies, or we can buy things, or we can go to restaurants and stuff. So everything that you do in life is tied into our basic wiring, which is to seek pleasure and to avoid pain. That's why when we fall sick or we have pain, we immediately want to see a doctor. We want a painkiller because we are wired that way. You can't say the person is weak. You are wired that way to do anything to avoid pain. So that's why people in the military, in the Navy SEALs, all of that stuff, they're trained very differently. They're trained not to succumb to that wiring, which means their neural patterns are changed through constant training, constant pain. So later, you're literally reprogramming the subconscious mind to be able to take pain and avoid pleasure. It's like that. So I think what I've really learned from a lot of people is, we stop living our lives when we start building walls of fear. Okay, because in most cases, fear is only illusion. It's only our own little stories. We may have had one bad experience, but that one bad experience and what it put us through starts building illusions in our mind, stories in our mind, which don't have to be true, and which in most cases are never true. Okay, so you may have lost love once in your life. It doesn't mean you have to lose it the second or the third time. It doesn't mean you lose it over and over again because you lost it once. But when you hold on to that one belief, you're building these walls of fear and it doesn't allow you to progress. So if you find you're not good at something or you failed at something, you give it up immediately, completely, without thinking that that could have been one instance that you failed in your life, but you could really be really, really good at what you do. So it is so important for us. And that's why I tell people to meditate and look within, sit in silence. What are these walls of fear that you built? What are these facades that you built? What are you trying to project to the world? Okay, something that you're not. All of us do it in our own different ways, but sometimes those walls become so solid we can't pull them down ourselves. So it is extremely important for us to constantly look at the fears that we are creating. A lot of people are fearful to express themselves in relationships because they think their partner may leave them, or their partner may think less of them, or their partner may think they're weak, or whatever it is. And these are walls that you're building. And while you build these walls, you continue to feel emotionally suppressed. You continue to feel the inability to express your emotions. And that 100% builds up into sickness at some point or the other. We have seen more than enough of cases for me to make a blanket statement that emotional internalization leads to diseases. It's as simple as that. So learn to open up your heart and your mind to other people. Do it the right way. You're doing it under the influence of alcohol or drugs. To people who are under the influence of alcohol and drugs, you're never going to get reality. You're never going to get real. What results you're going to get are results of people who are under the influence of alcohol and under the influence of drugs. Like, you ever roam around with people who are drunk, they always say things that, they don't probably mean, or things that they don't want to say, but they can only say it because all the guards are now broken. They're all lowered with the effect of alcohol or drugs, but that's not reality. That's not the real person. And that's why, alcohol, smoking, all of that gets addictive after a while. It's overstimulation of the mind. So you got to understand that you got to open up your heart and mind. If you don't, you stay a prisoner within the own walls that you made, and then no one can help you. Even your money, your wealth, your material things after a while will no longer be able to stimulate you because you're stuck within the walls that you have built. The second thing is share your gift. If you have a gift, I am of belief that every human being now has a gift. Every human being. Now, if you're going around and comparing yourself with everyone else, you may not think that you have a gift. You may feel very, very inadequate. But I don't think I've come across a single person who doesn't have a gift. Now, it may be very different for some people. So like a housewife will tell me, Luke, come on, I feel so useless. My friends are working, they own boutiques, they've opened bakeries, they're doing all of that stuff. I feel useless and stuff like that, and I have to counsel them so much to tell them, listen, your gift is your ability to be at home and spend time with your children, to make a home out of your place. You have to see it as a gift, because believe me, half those women out there are complaining to me and coming to us for counseling because they want to spend more time with their children, but their business has gotten too busy. They want to be home and spend more time, but their business has gotten them too busy. So the grass is always greener on the other side. And when it, how do you even know you have a gift? What is it that you're good at that makes you feel good whenever you do it? So for some women, it's cooking. So that's a gift. How much are you using your gift for yourself, for your family, cooking for your friends? Other people may have a gift of mentoring. Other people may have a gift of teaching. Other people may just have a simple gift of, listening. You're able to listen to people, and by listening, you give them comfort. Some of you may have a gift of writing or art or whatever it is. So my point is, whatever gift you have, use it. Use it. Don't become so busy in life that you cannot use the gift that you are born with, and the gift that if you use, you will impact someone else's life. Because I've also seen the people who don't use their gifts, eventually it is taken away from them. So you need to understand that what is not used is, we lose that. We tend to lose that, whether it's a muscle, whether it's our brain, whether it's our knees, our joints, whether it's love. If you don't use love, there are so many women out there and men who ration out love because they made it conditional. Oh, I will only give my husband love when he does this. I will only give my wife love when she behaves like that. I will only make love to my husband or my wife or my boyfriend or my girlfriend when she behaves in a particular way. These are conditions. These are limits that you put on an energy that can actually create something very, very beautiful. And by rationing that out, you don't only just create destruction for the other person, you create destruction for yourself in a huge, huge way. So whatever gift you have, learn to use it. Learn to use it. Your gift may not be making you money right now, so you may think that's not important for me right now. So do something that makes you money, but also never stop using your gift. Now, it's important for you, and I'll tie that with my next point, which is your life purpose. It is important for us to know what our life purpose is, because if we don't, life usually tends to control us. And that's when we start having, inadequacy, insecurity. We compare ourselves with other people. Everyone has a life purpose. It doesn't have to probably be in concrete like most people do. But your life purpose as a mother could be, I want to give the best education to my children and upbringing and be there for them and make them model citizens who are responsible, independent, emotionally stable and stuff. That's a fantastic life purpose. You may be in a corporate job, and your life purpose is to serve your company and grow and add value. That's also a life purpose. That is also a life purpose. You may have a spiritual path, life purpose, whatever it is. At the end of the day, if you can't find these things, you can't find a gift, the first thing you have to admit is that you have been comparing yourself with too many people, and you're so lost in everyone else's goals and life goals that you can't see your own gift. But everyone has a gift. Even a child has a gift. A child has a gift of making us laugh, making us feel loved, teaching us what unconditional love is. Children have their own gifts. You have to realize this in them. And when you see it, you got to tell them about it so they realize it, you know? And adults have their gifts. Senior citizens have their gifts. Everyone has a gift. If you have it, and you do have it, find it and use it. It is so important in helping you feel better and probably even helping you find your life purpose. If you have a gift and that gift makes you happy, you can make it your life purpose as well. And it can pay for you as well. It can pay your bills. It can make you wealthy. So use your gift, find your life purpose. A lot of people come and say, oh, I don't feel complete. I'll only be complete when, you know, my girlfriend marries me. I'll only be complete when my husband, you know, starts treating me kindly. I'll only feel whole when I get that promotion and that designation at work. You have to understand right now that that is a very, very terrible and poor mindset. You are already complete and whole. If you were incomplete and whole, just think about it. You can't function. You cannot function as a person if you are incomplete and you're not whole. But all these mindsets of, oh, the perfect partner will complete me. You have to be complete before you get into a relationship. Because at the end of the day, it's not your partner's job to complete you. It is your partner's job to do what your partner can do in his or her best ability. But you put yourself into a relationship with the expectation that your partner is going to complete you. That's not your partner's job, nor is it your job to complete someone else. We can complement someone else. We can help. We can give love. We can be there. We can offer kindness that makes the person feel better and better. But you can never complete a person. You got to complete yourself. You can complete yourself and make yourself feel whole by working with yourself. Only you can fill the voids that you have in you. There are so many people out there who are in depression and say that only when the perfect partner or the perfect love will fill my void. It will never fill your void. It will fill your void for a while. But when that love isn't there anymore, you're back to that same old void, which is why human beings have to realize that we have to complete ourselves. We have to make ourselves whole. We can use from the platter of the universe. We can take what we need and use it, but do not ever put the expectation on anyone to complete you or to make you whole. That means you've already made yourself a victim. It's as simple as that. You know, you don't come up to your doctor or your nutritionist and say, oh, now I'm going to be complete when it comes to my health. No, you're still incomplete because of your attitude and your mindset. You are already complete and whole, but there is a problem with you that needs to be taken care of. Now, whether you use medicine, you use nutrition, you use both, you use emotional counseling, whatever it is, but always know that you are already whole and complete. If you already think you're incomplete and whole, you already have problems. You have big problems. And then you'll have the dependency on other people, people's emotions, behaviors to fix you. And every time those emotions and behaviors don't work the way you need them to work, you'll be left with a void and the same feeling of being incomplete and not feeling whole. So this is very, very important for you. Your significant other is to complement you. Okay. Now you may have certain gaps that your partner fills up for you or fills in for you. You'll complement one another, but complete doesn't work that way. You got to complete yourself and make yourself whole on your own. It's extremely, very, very important. Learn to treat everyone with respect. I don't care how rich you are, how much you have, how many servants you have. I think the biggest problem with most people today is this, non-ability to respect people equally. You should see the way some people talk to their drivers, their servants, people who are below them. And you got to be careful of such people, because if they talk to you nicely and they talk to someone else in a disrespectful way, these are not good people. These are not good people. They hide behind a lot of fakeness, a lot of show. They're good to you because they want something from you, or they want to show you a part of themselves, which they want you to believe. They want to project the way they feel on you. But you should always treat people equally with respect. It doesn't matter who they are, whether celebrities, whether they're the presidents, the prime ministers, or whatever it is. You got to treat people equally. Now, when people disrespect you, people, whatever, that's a different thing. Of course, I'm not going to tell you, to act differently and stuff like that. But I'm saying, if you respect your children or your parents or whatever particular way, you got to respect your servants the same way. You got to respect your drivers the same way, and all of that stuff. They're not doing you a favor. They're doing work for you, and you're paying them a salary. It's a contract. It's not a favor. So in no way does it ever mean that we have to disrespect people below us or people who are equal to us or anyone for that matter. Anyone creates a problem in their life. Okay, you have a choice to accept or let go. But the disrespect only actually creates more problems for all of us. For all of us. There's so much of disrespect that happens in our world, in families, in relationships, and that's what takes away everything. You have the right to agree, to disagree, disagree, to agree, whatever it is. You have choices in life. But when it comes to disrespect, there's no choice. Okay, if you want to be respected, you have to also respect people. You know, you can't use your status and your wealth to create respect. That's what sadly happens in India, specifically India. People think that status, people think that wealth gives them an upper hand to disrespect people. They don't understand that their wealth and everything doesn't command the respect that their own personalities and their behaviors would be. So always remember that, to treat people equally and respect them. Give them the same respect. You can say no, but you can say it with respect. There's a big difference between that. Curiosity and wonder. You know, a lot of people come to us and, you know, they have everything in the world. You name it, they have it. But they feel empty inside. They feel like, you know, they don't have enough. And, you know why that happens is because their life has become too boring. Yep, on the outside, they're socializing, going for party after party, doing all of that stuff. But their life has become so boring because all the external stimulation that they've created in their lives don't work anymore. And they feel empty, they feel restless. I tell people to live their lives with curiosity and wonder. The little world that you've created for yourself is a grain in this entire planet. There is so much to learn, so much to see, so much to expose yourself to. And when you live with curiosity, it changes the entire energy in you and the way you see life. When you live with wonder, anything can happen, but you look at it at wonder. But when you have preconceived notions and you've made up your own mind of how life should be, how the party should go, how everyone should dress, all of that stuff, there's no wonder in your life anymore. Everyone's telling everyone how to dress, how to be, how to think, what to eat, where to go, all of that stuff. Life is boring. It has become so boring because people don't live with curiosity and wonder. They don't want to try new things. They don't want to experiment and look at what wonder may happen out of curiosity. So I usually tell people, your lives have become boring. Your lives are like puppets. Everything controls you. Society controls the way you dress, the way you speak, which restaurant you should eat at. So everyone looks at a rating and everyone will watch the movie that has 5 stars. But sometimes you'll watch a 3-star rating movie, which is way, way better than the 5-star because you're curious about it. You lived in wonder. So make your lives more vibrant. Make your lives more whatever. People think their lives are exciting with alcohol and drugs. That is overstimulation for a short period of time. But when there's no alcohol and drugs, guess what? Their life is back to being boring. So obviously that isn't the right stimulation for you. You got to live your life with wonder and curiosity. I always tell most of my patients and the students who come to me to dream big and imagine. You see what's happened in our world today? Look at young children, okay? A lot of young children don't believe in Santa Claus. They don't believe in, a lot of animated stuff. And, because the generation above them thinks they're over smart. They don't believe in imagination. They're saying, oh, these things are not true. Why should we teach our children? Why should we tell our kids Santa Claus is true and Santa Claus isn't true? Who the hell are you to come in between the natural imagination of a child? First, are you happy in your life? You're unhappy. So why are you trying to project your unhappiness and negativity on a child's imagination? Look at children. They dream, they imagine, they create. And insecure, jealous adults will try to go and take this away from a child, telling them, oh, science doesn't show this, science doesn't show that. Arrogant human beings have spoiled the generation of children today, and their own generation has been spoiled. You have over smart children in the second standard talking about, oh, science can't prove Santa Claus is there, and they have this, negative looking, unhappy look on their face, like they're controlled by their parents. Let children dream. Let children imagine. You have no idea what imagination does. Imagination have made people wealthy careers. Imagination has driven people to achieve, to win Olympics, to win sports, to be people who give back to mankind. That's what imagination does. So don't take your insecurities and your projection of your own feeble, sad life and put it on children. Let children, their natural way is to dream and create until human beings come and puncture it because they're miserable themselves. Look at Walt Disney. Look at why do children love cartoons? Why do they like all this animated stuff? Because it allows their imagination to go on and on and on and on. You allow creativity to flow in them. The same thing with adults. So many adults live miserable lives because they don't dare to dream. They don't dare to imagine. They bring their logical over smart minds in their own. No, science doesn't say this is possible. Science doesn't say that's possible. I can't do it. And you've only limited your life. Science can't explain most things in life today. Science can't explain most things. So you got to understand there's a difference between science, common sense, wisdom, and intuition. And you got to dream. You got to imagine. So many teenagers come controlled by their parents. You know, they have dreams to make a change and whatever it is. Here come the parents, insecure about what society is going to think about their children if they don't become doctors, if they don't become engineers. They project their own insecurities on their children, and the children grow up to be unhappy adults, relying on overstimulation at some point, mindless relationships, mindless sex, alcohol, drugs, and all of these things, because you rob them of their ability to imagine and to dream big. No one has the right to stop anyone from imagination. Everything in this world that is built from imagination. Like I always tell people, you build a house, how does an architect build a house? First, the architect has to see the vision of the house in his mind, and then the idea comes onto a blueprint, and the blueprint becomes the physical house. So everything starts with imagination. Everything starts with imagination, and everything starts with dreams. So it is so important for us to understand that stop trying to act over smart with your children and stop telling them not to dream. Stop puncturing holes in whatever they think. It may sound crazy to you because you choose to live your life below average, because you choose not to live with wonder, not to live with imagination, and not to live with curiosity. So don't project your weaknesses and your insecurities and your boring life on children and even teenagers and even some adults who love to imagine, and imagination can lead to something. So let us understand this. I've seen so many children controlled by their parents, and then I separate the parents, I remove them out of my cabin, and I sit with the kids. And you know why that child is sick? Because of the unhealthy environment at home caused by control by the parents, unreasonable control. I'm all for discipline. I am all for discipline for your kids, but unreasonable control will destroy your child's security and everything that comes along with it. So we got to learn. If you can't imagine, that's fine. Don't do it. I'm not forcing you to do it, but don't stop someone else from imagining. But try to do it. Try to imagine. Just sit one day and imagine, what's the perfect relationship for you? What's the perfect life for you? What would you do if you had abundance of money and you could buy anything you wanted or go? Imagine, because all this imagination goes into your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a lie and a truth. It doesn't know the difference between reality, and it doesn't know the difference between imagination. So yes, you have the ability to imagine your life, your health, your relationships, your money, the way you want it to do. But you'll always have a world of negative people out there saying, oh, stop dreaming. Nothing's going to happen with your dream. Every single athlete who is a star today, they have imagined their success. They have imagined themselves winning even before they started. So very important, let your children dream, and you do that as well. You are not entitled to anything or anyone. And this is something I have to go on telling all of my billionaire clients and everyone else who has made it in life. You are not entitled to anything or anyone. You get what you deserve. You reap what you sow. It's as simple as that. And if destiny has to deal you a hand which is good or bad, it will deal it. Because you have status, money, or power, it does not mean you are entitled. Please understand that. You may have a lot of money, so you may be entitled to a first-class ticket, or you may be entitled to a holiday on a yacht, or you may be entitled to your private chopper or a private charter plane or a Rolex watch or whatever it is, a Rolls Royce. You're entitled to that. You earned it. You have the money. You're entitled to that. But you are not entitled to anything beyond that. And you got to remember that, because it comes with so much of disappointment. It comes with so much of expectation when you think your power makes you entitled. It doesn't. You got to still pay your respects to the world. You need to do your job as a human being for whatever reason you are put onto this planet. You have to work, you have to improve, you have to offer respect, you have to learn how to live in relationships and communities. You have to do all of this stuff. Nothing changes. So do not live with a sense of entitlement. This is very damaging for you. So a lot of kids who let their children grow up feeling entitled, these children usually take the drugs, alcohol, mindless relationships. They are the ones in depression. They go through a lot of pain because they grew up thinking it's not their fault. They grew up thinking they were entitled until they stepped out into the real world and they realized that no one gives a crap about you. So when we bring up our children, okay, let them also know the goods and bads of life. Let them know that everything doesn't come easy in life. You may be privileged right now. You may have a lot more and stuff like that, but that's not the real world. You are doing a disservice to yourself or your child if you let them grow up feeling entitled, feeling above other people. You need to understand that will destroy them. And a lot of rich kids, they're sick of their parents living that life, and they try to come down to average children and behave like that and stuff like that, and they find it so difficult. So you are not entitled to anything. You get what you deserve, period. You don't put in efforts in for your health, you will not recover from your sickness. You don't put in efforts for your weight loss, you will exactly get those results. You don't put in efforts for your studies, your career, your job, you will get what you deserve. Just because you may be famous, just because you may know so-and-so or drop names of politicians and big people and stuff like that, it does not mean you are entitled. Remember that. I have so many clients who will pick up the phone and call me and say they'll drop 10 names before they tell me what they want. And I'm like, don't waste my time. If you need help, tell me what the problem is. I don't need to know who you know. It's as simple as that. Because people think they're entitled because they've dropped 10 names, they're going to get priority service from me. But everyone is the same. Everyone follows the same protocol. It's as simple as that, because I treat everyone equally and I respect everyone equally. But this name call dropping and all of that stuff, it just means that you have no sense of self-worth. You have to use external names to make yourself feel important so that you get some amount of attention. I've had people who are no ones, I don't even know them. They've called up from a small village in a tier 3 city in India, and desperation in their voice. Luke, I need help. My mother is dying of cancer and I want your help. Will you please help them? No name dropping, no whatever, that perfect, genuine message. And I will take up their case in the next half an hour. But the people who drop names and stuff like that, you build up this automatic resistance. Like, there are other people waiting, you wait as well. If it's urgent, come up front and say it's urgent and let's take it that way. So do not use entitlement. Do not use entitlement. I know it means a lot of power and it puts you on a very, very high pedestal in society and stuff like that, but it only means you have extremely low self-worth. So no one is entitled to anything. You get what you give. You reap what you sow and you get what you deserve. It's as simple as that. Don't ever waste your time on negative people. It is so important for you to understand. The more you waste your time with negative people, the more your energy will be drained. There are decisions in life where sometimes you got to distance yourself. He may or she may be the coolest person in your party group, and you're only hanging around in that group because you have FOMO. Okay, if you're not in that group, people will think you're not cool, but you're doing yourself a disservice by doing that. The more you hang around with negative people, the more they will drain you. The more negativity you create in your family, your work environment, in your relationships, the more negativity you're going to drain from other people, and you're going to drain your own energy. Negativity, like the word says, is a very negative energy. It drains you. It makes you sick. It makes you tired. It gives you headaches. It gets you constipated and all of those things. Everyone has a choice. You got to choose where you want to be. Avoid negative people like the plague. It's as simple as that. Okay, we got about 2-3 more points. A lot of people in life will have to change their friend groups at some point because you're tired of being average. Sometimes you change your company that you work for because you're tired of being average. If you want to grow in life, okay, you cannot vibrate at a frequency of average. If you want to be above average, you got to be with people who are above average. You got to be with people who vibrate at a frequency of above average. If you want to be healthy, you got to, and you're sick right now, you got to be vibrating at a frequency of people who speak health, who are healthy, not sick people who are complaining. And that's why I'm very, very against groups that, offer, I mean, there are a lot of alcoholic groups that are good, but there are groups that only help people to wallow in their self-pity, and they support one another, and they completely accept that their path is of no return. Be very careful of this. My point is, you choose how you want to be. If you want great relationships, you got to attract great people. You cannot be in a great relationship if you are vibrating at a frequency of below average. You will attract below average people. It's as simple as that. The frequency at which you vibrate attracts like frequencies. So below average, you're below average. How many of you have graduated from certain friend groups over time because they no longer serve your purpose? These friends will want you to continue vibrating at their below average. A lot of them will not be able to see you excelling, doing well, vibrating at a higher frequency. Okay, but you made your choice. You don't come down to vibrate below average again because they're unhappy at the frequency you're vibrating. Everything in life is about energy and frequency. It's real. It's real. My cup of green tea right now has a particular frequency. It has a particular energy. A glass of wine will have a particular frequency and a particular energy. Likewise, people, because everything is energy. Everything is energy. Know that for sure, and know that energy works in frequencies. And frequencies cause vibrations and rhythms. So it is so important for us to choose how we want to be. You want to grow in life? Are you vibrating at that right frequency? If you have cancer, are you vibrating at the right frequency of health? Not of sickness, but of health. Now you have to choose that frequency the right way. People will always let you down. This doesn't make people bad. It makes you bad because you put an expectation, an unreasonable expectation that it is people's jobs never to let you down. Well, I'm sorry. Every religion also doesn't talk about that. Every religion talks about in good times and in bad times. It doesn't say only in good times or only in bad times. People will let you down. People that you love will let you down. People that you look up to will let you down, and it's okay. It is absolutely okay. You need to change your mindset that people will never let me down. You need to change your mindset and definition of love, of money, of sex, of career, because most people have very shallow definitions of each of these emotions. And these shallow definitions are linked to what you see in movies, documentaries, you hear in songs, what society is talking about, what TV serials teach you. So a definition of breakup for you would equate what you see that's happening on TV. A divorce proceedings will go as per what you see on television programs, heartbreak, and all of these things. It doesn't have to be that way. That is defined by the virtual world. It is not real. It is not real at all. So you got to break down your expectations that, oh, how could my husband hurt me? How could my wife let me down? How could my girlfriend say this? How could, yes, they could say it. Now, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Go on whining and complaining about how you were let down, or fix it? You have a choice, accept or let go. Make your choice and make it easier for everyone. It's as simple as that. But being stuck on how could this person do that? How could that person do that? Guess what? The only person who suffers is you. The other person who's done it has moved on with their life. They're living their life, and it's only you who is stuck because of your mindset, your very, very limiting mindset. Like I said, at the end of the day, okay, we all come into this world alone and we leave this world alone. Never ever forget that. Along our journey of life, we will meet people, paths, we will try to own those people, we will try to control because we don't want to let go of the good things in our life. But sadly, it is true that nothing lasts forever. When you remind yourself of this nothing lasts forever, you begin to learn to appreciate it, be more grateful, not spend time in misery of unforgiveness, anger, hatred, betrayal. These are wasted emotions when you know that you never owned anyone. Every wife out there who thinks, they own their husband, or every husband out there who thinks they own their wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or partner or whatever, you don't own anything. They're in your life journey. They're in your life path. Now you can use your status to control them, to ration out your love, to, blackmail them, do all of that stuff, emotional blackmail, all of that stuff. The only loser is you. The only loser is going to be you. So wake up, get out of your rut of being a victim and move on, because your time is finite. Okay? Your life is one life. You have a shelf life. And number four, nothing belongs to you. Nothing lasts forever, period. Keep reminding yourself every day. When you remind yourself, you start to really appreciate and live life more fully. When you don't do this, you think you can hang on to your Rolls Royces and your yachts and your Rolex watches and all the fancy things that you'll buy. It doesn't give you happiness after 2 to 3 months of owning it because it's not real. It's not the stimulation that human life looks for. Human life looks for stimulation and joy, in bliss, in love, in peace, in real freedom, in value, in appreciation, in attention. These are things that every human being craves for and needs. Foolish are the human beings who give this up for all the material greed in the world. They are unhappy and they are miserable, period. Now, you should build your life so successfully that you can have all those material things, but you also have love, joy, peace, appreciation, attention, and all these things together. That's a wholesome life. And you can imagine that. What's stopping you from imagining that perfect, beautiful life? Learn to love and respect you. I always tell people, if you can't respect yourself, why should other people respect you? If you can't love yourself, why should other people love you? Now, when I say love, don't make it like most of the women today and men have made this self-love a very selfish thing. They think they got to put themselves first for everything. That's not self-love. That's selfishness. Don't confuse that. Yes, when we say put yourself first, we make, nourish yourself, exercise, look after yourself, make sure your needs are also met as you meet the needs of other people and stuff. That is what self-love is. A lot of people don't understand that self-love is the absence of self-criticism. A lot of people claim that they self-love themselves, but they're constantly criticizing themselves. I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I'm not good enough. No, I'll never be good. No, I don't look great. No, my skin is dark. What do people think of me? That's all negative self-criticism. You don't love yourself. You don't accept yourself the way you are. If you can't accept your flaws, if you can't accept your negatives, if you can't accept how great you are, why should other people accept you? Period. It starts with you. An empty cup cannot pour out anything. An empty you cannot pour out anything. You want to give kindness to people, you have to first give kindness to yourself. You want to give love to other people, you have to first learn how to give love to yourself. You want to give knowledge to other people, you got to first get yourself educated. It's as simple as that. An empty cup cannot pour out anything. So it is so important for us. I've met so many people, beautiful, good people like Luke. I've dedicated my life to looking after this person. I put everyone first. Who asked you to do that? No one did. You should have looked after yourself and them. Now that is proper. Fill your cup and then let it overflow into every other aspect in your life. Now that is balance. That is balance. So many mothers come to me, so many elderly people, oh, we got cancer, Luke, our entire life, we sacrificed, we did. That was a mindset. That was a mindset. You could have looked after yourself. You could have, done everything that you had to do. So we got to change our mindsets. We really, really have to change our mindset, and we have to learn to love and respect ourselves. It first starts with us, and then it goes outwards. It's always inwards, outwards. It's never the other way. Today, the unfortunate part of the world is it's outwards, inwards. We look from outwards and we try to fill ourselves. Outward, inwards. It doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. You should be nourished inwards, and then you connect outwards. And then that's how you enjoy the best of every part of this world. Inward, outward living is what we do. And finally, the last point that I have for today is everyone has a different path of happiness. Everyone. I cannot force someone onto my part of happiness. You can't do that too. Everyone has, and you got to respect that. You have to respect someone's path. We deal with so many divorces and so many, relationship issues of young couples and stuff like that. And one thing that comes out clearly to me is at some point in the relationship, either the male or the female has tried to change the path of one another. And that's very wrong. That's very wrong. Of course, if they're on a really bad path like alcohol, drugs, beating up someone, you want to get them off that path. But if you try to get them onto a path that all of a sudden you think is the right path, that's very wrong of any partner to try to change someone else. Because remember, everyone born in this world has their own path. Just because you have that status or that label of a relationship or a husband or a wife or a lover doesn't give you the right to change someone's path of happiness. And that's why I encourage people today to think before they get into relationships. It's always good in the beginning. You know, only the good parts of both people are shown, but you got to see the good and the bad part. Because if someone's going to try to change your part of happiness, you do not want to have to be with that person. You want to be accepted the way you are. Of course, like I said, if there are behaviors that have to change, which are limiting and bad, then absolutely you got to be open to changing those parts. But if you try to change someone's part of happiness, it's disgusting. Even with children and teenagers, how many parents out there try to control their kids, corner their kids, blackmail them into getting into the family business? And you can't force anyone. If they have a different part of happiness, you got to allow them to. You don't own them. You know, there's a very deep spiritual learning. There's a very deep spiritual saying. Once the umbilical cord is cut, okay, from the mother and the child, that child at that instance has their own paths for them designed in their life, in their journey, in their world. The parent's job is to nurture, provide security, move them up, guide them until they're ready to move and fly onto their own paths. But sad are the cases where the parents try to control this life path. You have no control over your child's path. And the ones who use ego, pride, aggression, blackmailing their kids, threatening to remove them from the family, not using inheritance, y'all should feel very sorry and sad for yourselves. Y'all are not God. That spiritual part is defined for them already. You can guide them. You can't use emotional blackmail to put them on a path that you think is right for them. They already have their paths defined. And you need to know that. You have your path defined for you. Let me tell you that just because you're married right now doesn't mean your path has changed. When you got married, you were a particular age at a particular level of maturity. As you moved in your marriage, you're evolving. Marriage has not stopped evolution. It's not stopped changing you. If your path has to change, it has to be agreed on mutually. These things have to be understood. Otherwise, you're going against the laws of nature. And then there's resistance, there's conflict, there's divorce, there are bad things said, and all of those things. And that's why relationships require maturity, to understand that people's paths may change. You can't use the word of marriage or partner to lock down someone on their path. Of course, you got to be responsible. The husband decides to become a yogi and move to the mountains and not work. Who's going to feed the family? It's your responsibility. Stay in your place, go get a job, work, and put food on the table. As simple as that. That's your responsibility. That's your core job. So I'm being reasonable when I'm saying your path. But we got to respect the paths of people, because you have one life, like I said. When you're on your deathbed, all my dying patients talk about, all of my dying patients talk about three things: love that they had, love that they lost, the memories that they had, and they talk about family. They do not talk about designation. They don't talk about money. They don't talk about power. They don't talk about anything, because all of us do the cycle of life. As we reach the end, the only things that matter are human relationships with whomever, your sister, your mother, whoever, your family, the memories that you made. No one's going to give a damn about how many likes you got on Instagram, how many people shared your post. This is the reality of life, my friends. These are life lessons, and you should use it to mold the way you operate right now. You know, I am fortunate to have learned this from the experience of my job, which is dealing with these patients. And that's why I choose to share it with you, because there are so many ways I've changed the way I live my life from the learnings and the suffering of my own patients. So in a way, I am blessed to get these lessons from someone else's misfortune. You see, life can teach us through books, and life can teach us through experience. I feel sad for all the people who hide behind books, hide behind science, hide behind theories. It's great. We need all of that stuff. But beyond that, there is something which is so precious and so valuable and so priceless. It is experience. Experience of our elders, our parents, our grandparents. They've lived through stuff that we will never live through. They've lived through suffering, they've lived through pain, and they turned out way happier than all of us. So we got to look up to them. How did our generation manage to mess up everything and feel sad and depressed and even kill ourselves when we had so much more than the future generations? Because what we think we have is what we need is not what we need. We need simplicity. We can have all the comforts. We can have all the technology that we have. It's great. But finally, we can't replace love. We can't replace joy. We can't replace family bondings, family meals, family time, creating memories together, you know, missing one another, longing for one another. Today with social media, there's no way you can miss anyone at all. At all. In fact, people on social media who tell their partners, you know, I miss you so much, I miss you all the time, I miss you every second, you're just missing a rush of dopamine. It's all that. It's nothing else. You're just missing dopamine and the excitement of being able to be in touch all the time. I think we're done for today. Take away what you need to take away from all of these things. Teach these things to your children, because even the most fanciest education in the world cannot replace or mold the personality and character of a child. That is the job of a parent first, and then the schools, society, and everything around. So we should never forget that. If we want to make a difference in the generation under us, we got to be the change first. And then we got to create a new generation under us so that they don't go through the complete crap that this current generation is going through. You know, where we have everything, but yet the statistics of unhappiness, the statistics of disease, the statistics of suicide are at its highest. Something is terribly, terribly wrong, and we got to realign ourselves. Thanks for your time, everyone. Have a great evening.